Hello everyone and welcome back to another exciting edition of Boyographic, the show in which I, Matt, the Gameboy, aim to take you through the highs and lows of the Game Boy library one cart at a time. This week we'll be learning that rare and expensive doesn't always mean brilliant game with Lingo. So, after showing you the wonders of the more exotic end of the European Game Boy library with the likes of Trip World and Hammering Harry, two games that, at least in my opinion, really show off what the Game Boy was capable of, I thought it was time to show you folks a rare game that's obscure and probably for the die-hard collectors only, as, well, it's not a great game. I'm referring to Lingo. A title based on a TV game show of the same name, which originated in the US of A. The aim of Lingo is pretty straightforward. Each team of 2 players has a 5x5 board with either odd or even numbers on it, and must line up 5 of these numbers either horizontally, vertically or diagonally in order to create a Lingo. At the start of each round, some of these numbers are filled in for the player, but in order to get more numbered balls to mark on their board, the player must correctly spell a 5-letter word within the time limit and with only 5 guesses. And running out of time or guesses will result in the board being passed over to the opposing team. From this explanation, Lingo might sound diabolically hard, but it's not too bad, honest. As for every letter you guess right, there will be a highlighted circle telling you it's the right letter at the wrong location, or a block of solid colour indicating that not only is it the correct letter, but that it's in the right place in the word. Using this, the player can easily decipher the correct words, at least that's the idea. But perhaps this would be too simple, so there are some extra balls in the mix to spice things up, such as the red stopper ball, which will automatically hand control of the board back to the opposition. And because for some reason this German-only release is based on the version of the game show from the Netherlands, there are also 3 green balls in the pot that rarely come out, but when they do, supposedly the player wins the show's jackpot. As I mentioned, this game is region-coded NOE for Nintendo of Europe, which generally means it's a German release of the game. However, as well as German, this card does contain an English, Dutch and French language version of the game, where the game shows other titles, namely 5x5 for the German market and Motus for the French, are also displayed. Why this game never got a US release seems very surprising to me, at least, as the show was broadcast on and off by the Game Show Network up until as late as 2011. But I assume there's only an English option in this game at all, because the game was developed by PCSL Software, who were an Irish studio. The first thing I'd say about Lingo is that the game is slow, which I guess is what you could expect from a vocabulary-based game. When the word appears on the board, you have 25 seconds of time to guess the word correctly. That is presuming you don't cheat by pressing start to pause the game and using something like wordhippo.com to filter 5-letter words based on their starting letter, like I absolutely didn't, because cheating is wrong. While 25 seconds per guess doesn't feel that long when you're playing the game, it feels like an eternity when it's the computer's turn, as this can sometimes take up to 2 or 3 minutes for the computer to fail or get the answer right, and there really should be an option to press a button to skip this, as it's just really not fun to watch. Secondly, the dictionary in the game is, well, as you'd expect with 4 languages on one cart, very limited. After playing the game for only a few hours, I saw the same words start to repeat themselves quite frequently. Even more annoyingly, sometimes this 5-letter word would be something slightly obscure like axial or bandy, while others like manic and faded were not even in the dictionary, which seems pretty nuts to me. However, my main gripe with this game is getting to the no Lingo round at the end of the game. as if you get pretty good at this game and are able to get Lingo 3 or 4 times in a row, you need to compete in the closing round, as clicking no to this question will result in an automatic game over, which sucks. But this round itself isn't very specific, as the only option seems to be go until you hit game over, where the game displays the credits and pulls you right back to the beginning, rather than giving you another shot at the grand prize. I guess this was meant to replicate the game show experience, but as we're not playing for real money here, I say just let the player enjoy it. The game allows the player to select their own team of 2 from 9 characters, who are purely there for aesthetics, as you could imagine. Then you can either face off against the computer or a second player on the same cartridge, which is a pretty nice touch, as while this isn't perhaps the game I would pull out to play 2-player, I'd argue that this is probably the best way to experience Lingo with another living person. I watched quite a bit of Lingo leading up to this video, and I would say to fans of the series, it's probably best to steer clear of this release. It's pretty sluggish, the round lengths can't be customised, and with the game's limited dictionary, a lot of the puzzle aspect gets removed in multiple replays. Not to mention that Lingo can be a pretty pricey game to get a hold of, so it's perhaps one that should be left to the serious Game Boy collectors. As while it's not the only play-at-home experience of a game show not to live up to the source material, this one has little to no redeeming qualities in my eyes. Its music is repetitive, and visually it doesn't look great either. So when you factor in that this cart will probably set you back way over the price of a decent boxed common title, it's probably worth avoiding unless you're going for a complete set or you come across it cheap in the wild. And that brings us to the end of another Boyographic, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you have enjoyed. If you have, please click the subscribe button and please share it with anyone you think may be interested. If this is your first time watching and you have enjoyed, why not check out some of our other Boyographic videos in which I look at the highs and lows of the Game Boy library one cart at a time. Some Boy Curious videos in which I look at the oddities and bootlegs of the system, and some All the Glory. A series of long play videos where I cut out all the deaths, giving none of the faff but all of the glory. Until next week, Game Boys and girls, game on.